Who's on this podcast?
Blaine
Gavin.
Barbara.
And the Emmy Award nominated Burnie Burns. I have to push that for as long as I can. The Emmys are like in a week and a half, so.
They cut to you there because you should have said your name again, but
Yeah.
you didn't.
Oh, and Blaine.
The internet's Blaine Gibson.
I always get really self-conscious when I'm on the podcast with, like, I'm the one person that's replacing one of the removed, like, senior guys, you know? Because it's Gus, it's Gavin, it's
couple
Barbara,
senior.
it's
about
Burnie.
you on the last podcast, too. You overthink stuff.
Yeah, well, but like, so I was on the phone with my dad last night, and I was like, "Yeah, I gotta go because I gotta go shower, and I'm on the podcast tonight." And he was like, "Why?" And
Really?
and I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Nothing. Hey, good for you, son." I was like, "What?" So even my dad doesn't like when I'm on the podcast.
Does your dad listen to the
like it
podcast?
either.
Yes, they've tuned in. I've had talks with my parents about things that I've done because I've said them
Have they
on the
heard you say
podcast.
things
Embarrass
that
the
they don't
family,
approve
right?
of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
It's a real fucking deal.
What do they not like? Like, was there one thing in
Weed.
particular
Just
they
the
called you
overall
out on?
Blaine.
I talked about Seattle last year
Oh.
and my experience with that.
Totally legal?
Legal.
You're
Yeah.
also a grown man. You could do what you want.
You're
Wow.
right.
Yeah, but you never not have parents. I mean,
Rebellious.
when you go back to visit your parents
Yeah.
and you're in their house, it takes about 5 minutes before you fall back into the same old roles that you had for 18 years. At least that was always my experience.
Blaine, take out the trash. All right.
Yeah. Or it's like, you know, like, are you going to wear that? Or it's like, I'm like 32 years old. I'm going outside. They go, my mom says, are you going out without shoes on? It's like, I'm fine. I got this figured out now.
My dad does always, like, when I'm borrowing one of their cars to go out to a movie or see friends who live in Ottawa, my dad will watch me pull out of the driveway and drive away.
Like, how does
from
he
the
watch you?
window.
Like,
Maybe he just wants to see you a bit longer that
He's
day.
just standing there in the window watching me pull out, and I'm like, I know how to drive a car.
Is he waiting for you to fuck up?
I don't know what he's waiting for.
my parents, like, because I drive to Dallas because it's like 3.5 hours away from Austin. Whenever I'm leaving, they do like the thing where they stand out on the porch and watch me go and wave as I leave. And then I will be back in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and then my mom is always like,
Really? Oh, that's tough, man.
my
It's
mom
really
loves
tough.
me so fucking much.
Any
Oh,
siblings?
I'm sorry.
My sister, and
Really?
she lives in my hometown, so they always see her.
Older sister?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she had a
31.
baby, remember?
No, I
She's
don't
got
think
2
I've ever
babies.
seen.
We talked about his sister's vagina, like, in depth.
Hey, so where's that? Let's read this thing. Where's the bottle opener?
What do you want to do?
Oh, yeah.
You mean the whistle?
Where's your whistle?
Yeah, where's my whistle?
I watched the podcast
I think
last
I put
night.
it on my desk, actually.
You watch the podcast?
Should we mention that this is pre-recorded?
Yeah, I guess we should. This podcast is pre-recorded. It
This
actually
is
brings
less
up a
than-
really interesting point.
Less than 24 hours after the other one.
We really did.
What has happened since?
Yeah, actually, a major world event has happened
What?
since we last recorded the podcast, which actually will have happened in the time between when we recorded the podcast and when it came out for last week.
What is it?
But now we're going to talk about this one, and it'll be like, it'll
lost
probably
me.
be disproven by, because we're recording this on Tuesday. So we're actually recording this in the interim from when we recorded the last podcast and when the public was able to see it.
Can I guess what's happened?
What's happened?
There was a big solar flare.
You're close.
Oh.
You're actually pretty
Something
close.
astrology related?
Yeah. Astrology?
I have
no,
not been on,
astronomy.
Dude, the horoscope for Cancer was correct.
This is exactly what your dad was talking
I
about, Blake.
always fuck up.
The sun found out it's a Capricorn. Do you guys know? The big space thing that happened?
I don't know. I haven't been on any, like, news sites today
All right,
yet.
control room. Let's see. Let's go to you. You got a chance to steal here. What's the big space thing that happened?
Space cancer cured.
The Earth eclipsed the sun?
No. The eclipse. The eclipse is like July of next year.
Earth eclipses the sun all the time. What do you mean?
SETI, Russian SETI satellite dishes have a signal from outer space that everyone is saying this could be communication from a civilization.
What?
Yeah. They're saying like this could be it.
How
you
is
sure
that
that-
not bigger
I'm
news
sure
right
by
now?
Monday when this podcast comes out,
disproven.
totally disproven, or next Wednesday.
Is this the beginning of Laser Team?
It's pretty interesting, right?
All right, so
And
what's the code or what's the communication?
Like,
Is it
yeah, what did they
downplaying it.
receive?
They're saying apparently there's these, and I got to read more into it. And I did some of this research when we were writing Laser Team. But apparently there's different classes of civilizations. Like there's a Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3. And depending if it's a Type 1 or Type 3 civilization, it could be two different things. If it's a Type 1 civilization, it's a narrow focused beam that's being directed directly at Earth, which would then mean they know where we are.
So they got our signal.
Or they said, okay, there's life on that planet. We're going to direct a message directly at them.
So we receive something, or we know
We're
that
picking
someone
up a
received
signal,
us?
a steady, strong signal.
I bet it's some dude's phone.
Yeah, they're like, so there's like all this stuff too. It's like
Someone left the microwave on.
I read a lot of forum posts about it.
on Jupiter.
apparently SETI does this every now and then for like budgetary reasons. Like, oh, it's a really cool thing. But like
when every so often there's life on Mars.
every so often there's like water.
Yeah, we found water on Mars. It's like the thing.
NASA needs some bucks, so they found water for the billionth time on Mars. But it's kind of one of those things where they didn't rule out that it could be a military satellite that they're not aware of. And people are like, well, why don't you rule that out before you go announcing
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, no
It could
shit.
be alien civilization.
Could they
talking
determine
to
how
us.
far away it is, or anything like
They
that?
know where it is. Yeah, they know
Wow.
exactly where it is.
What if
Wouldn't
it's an
that-
It's in the
SOS?
Hercules constellation, which
Oh, I know
didn't-
that constellation.
I bet you do.
Yeah, man. The
Constellation's fucking ripped.
I wonder.
It's got its macros
Been
and
beamed a
balance.
message by the left peck of Hercules.
It's useless though because we can't travel there.
I
in the-
thought you meant Huncules. I'd like to make some sweet music. Sorry, that's from the movie Hercules.
we can't
I will
communicate.
read, I will read
so
this.
long. I was like,
Here, I
what
will
was
read this.
I was gonna recite the entire song. But
Keep
then I
going.
decided not to. No.
Bernie's gonna read this thing.
No, let you guys done. Keep going. Let Maker keep going.
What if the message came
I
through?
don't want to interrupt you, Barb.
What if we decoded the
Fuck you.
message?
Keep going.
And
We decoded the message to words, and it just said, "What?
Gavin?
Fart, fart, fart.
what if it was SOS?
What if it was
Oh,
boobs?"
that'd be
like
scary.
It's like run. Ooh.
Or I'm trapped out here. I was on Earth at
May I
one point.
read you an article from an online news source?
You may.
This is from an Australian news source. Extraterrestrial signal being investigated by SETI researchers. Highly unusual radioactivity emanating from a star in the outer reaches of the universe was detected by Russian astronomers more than 15 months ago. But what they did next was equally unusual. They declined to tell anybody about the signal. Despite the potential significance of such an event, the recording of the distant radioactivity went largely unnoticed by the broader scientific community, and now there's a desperate race to try to figure out what or who has caused this signal.
Why did they have?
And it's emanating from a system that has a sun-like star.
They had clickbait in the article. It's like what they did next was amazing.
Blow your mind.
That was like paragraph bait. Like I had
Yeah.
to go to the next paragraph. I didn't have to click. I didn't have to click on anything to do that.
So, do you think they have any Atlas stones?
Possible explanations for the abnormal radio recording tend to fall into two categories with distinctly different implications. One that posits the signal was a product of intelligence and was emitted by a civilization far more advanced than our own, and the decidedly less exciting explanation that it was the result of earthly radio interference.
Or
That's
the
probably
sort
the
It is a
answer.
steady signal. So I don't know if they're still recording it or whatever, but astronomy is not one of those things you can kind of keep under wraps. Once people are aware of it, there's a lot of civilians who have some pretty decent.
What about the ham radio?
Yeah, exactly. So you're gonna have people that are able to pick up the signal if they know where it's coming from.
I knew a
And
guy in
communicate
Oxford.
back with it potentially.
Who do I what?
Can you communicate back with it? Do you think? Do you think they have that technology?
Might take a long time. You guys watch
Yeah.
The Martian? Ever seen that? And so it's an interesting concept.
$10 million.
Go ahead.
Okay.
But every month, you have to watch every single time you've had sex
Oh wow.
from beginning to end.
Why would you say no to that?
Well, it's does like time pause and then you have to.
Nope.
But then what if you've had sex and it's like mounted into like days worth of sex?
Yeah.
Then you've lost several days of that month.
Just to
$10
watch
million
yourself
though,
have
dude.
sex?
$10 million.
Yeah,
And the
so
more you have sex, the longer each.
then you're just
viewing
kind of motivated
session.
to have sex. Unless you want to watch yourself have sex. I wouldn't mind watching myself have sex.
What counts as
Yeah, I
sex?
would do it. I would do it.
You would want to
counts
watch
as-
yourself have sex?
What counts as
Yeah.
sex? When does the clock start?
Yeah, true.
What about if you masturbate?
I would say when the P goes in the V.
Okay.
Oh, for
Penetration?
sure. Yeah. Because it's like, like what, 50 minutes top? Just kidding. Yeah, no,
Why would you want to watch yourself have sex?
because I get $10 million.
Yeah.
No, I mean like just in general though. Would you want to
Why
see it?
wouldn't you
Yeah,
want to
sure. Why
watch
not? I
yourself
think
have
it'd
sex?
be it'd be nice to know.
It'd be like good for him, Blaine.
Got her.
Your dick looks like a leg.
Got her. Yeah, I would do that. 10 million. Do that.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want to? Why would you say no to that?
Fuck.
I'd just like get a glance on my own butthole or something. I'd be like,
Well, if you told me,
Where's the camera?
You don't look at your.
well, if you told me you're gonna get a job that you
Yeah.
have to do 1 day a month, maybe 2 days a month, and you're gonna get paid $10 million for that job, I'd go, yeah, fuck, I'll do that job. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't matter really what the job
Murdering
is.
children.
Well, obviously,
You're already
but
committed.
that's my passion. So I don't want to
the
get.
more
I
you
don't
have
want
sex,
to ruin it with money.
It might get to the point where that's half of your month.
It's gonna come back and haunt us if I actually don't.
How much sex do you think people are having?
What's your cumulative time? Do you think?
Even if you have sex every day for half an hour, that's 30
Half an hour.
days.
Let's not go crazy here.
30 days times 30
It could be a while.
minutes.
You'd
Right.
be watching.
So that would be 900 minutes, right?
Uh huh.
Do you get snacks while you're watching yourself bone?
You can do whatever you want. You just have to watch.
What's 900 minutes in hours? I can't do math very well.
900 minutes is hours.
Divided by
Well,
60.
60 would be 10, so it would be 15.
15 hours. That's not even a full day.
But that's in a
Solid logic.
maybe it's not that much.
Even if you had sex for an hour every day, that's still 30 hours. That's just a little over a day.
You were saying something.
But you only have 30 in a month.
30 what? Days?
Days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
Yeah,
as
but
soon as
people
your
give
month,
up. People give up 22 days a month for their jobs to make money.
Yeah.
You're giving up 1 day a month to make money, to make 10
but if it
million
gets to the
bucks.
point where 28 days of the month that you watching yourself bone, you've only got 2 days a month to live and do life.
a lot of sex though.
How much? What are you doing? You would be watching yourself have sex while you're having sex.
It'd be great.
How much sex are you having?
yeah, you could be your own porn.
But you've got from now until the end of your life. That's a lot of future
Wait,
sex
is
to
it
not
like
have.
every month?
It's a lot of future.
It's like whatever will happen in that month.
Your
you'd
math
watch,
is
and then
confusing
it would
me.
start over again.
No. You
Or
have to
just
watch every
accumulate.
time.
oh,
You've ever
it
done it.
accumulates.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not doing that. The way you said it was like a periodical thing. Like on February 28th, I gotta watch all my February sex.
Yeah, that's what
And
I
then
thought
in
it
March,
was.
I gotta watch all my March
February
sex.
1st, you got to watch the first time you had sex to like last night. Last
First
night's
time
sex.
my whole life? Yeah, no way. No, there's no way I'd do it.
There you go.
I
Now we're on the
try and
same
calculate
page.
what that would be.
Well, I mean,
That's the hard part, is you don't know. Sometimes it can go
It
for
might
5 minutes,
be
sometimes it
your-
can go for an hour, you don't know.
I think like accumulative.
What's your shortest? performance,
Shortest?
do you think?
It was when we were in a rush because I was trying to get her to an airport.
I think you're trying. You're
Were
like,
you in an Uber?
No, we were running late for a flight. I don't know. Probably
Sub-minute.
couple minutes.
Sub-minute. Depends on when you start counting it, right? I mean, sometimes you go for just like speed.
What about you, Gavin?
You've
pretty
never
sure.
tried to see how fast you could go from start to finish? How fast you could go?
Why would you?
not like with a woman.
You never tried to speedrun sex?
You never tried that? Really?
I mean, I feel like you'd both have to agree on it. Right?
Yes, you would.
Okay. And then start now. Right?
That's
Or
I feel like
just
that would put the
if-
pressure on, and then I would
I
probably
want
last
to
longer.
ask a question too because I'm really curious
What if
now.
the guy's just really excited?
That happens too?
Yeah, that's happened to me before.
What, where it was like
In my first relationship, yeah, there'd be times where it's just like, oh all right.
maybe too much foreplay.
You know, and it's like guys are so worried about it too. But Blaine, Gavin, imagine this. Imagine you're with a girl and you're taking her clothes off
Oh, I'm imagining that.
and she has an orgasm. That would not be disappointing at all,
No.
right? She's like so excited to have sex with you, she has an orgasm before you get her completely naked. That'd be incredible.
Yeah.
You tell like everyone you know about that. But like if it happens to a guy, it's like the end of the world.
Yeah, that would be.
Barb, ever had a premature orgasm yourself?
Myself?
Yeah.
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
Like you're getting ready to have sex and you have an orgasm.
Yes.
What?
But I mean, it's not without touch or anything like that.
No, I got you. I'm talking like
Yeah.
some guys get so excited that like before anyone, well, you know, they're kissing or whatever, but before there's actual sexual contact, like
Yes.
someone's putting a hand on a genital. Before that happens,
Yes.
then
Let me whip my genital out and we'll get going.
how many genitals do you have? Guys have one genital.
No. Genitals.
I always refer genitals plural.
Yeah, me too, but why
Show
would it
me
be
your
plural?
genitals.
if I had no balls and one penis, I'd still be like, oh, you got me right in the genitals.
I think if it was one big unit.
well, then it's
Like an elephant face.
like
I
a
do, you
vagina is genitals.
It's true, yeah. I don't know why.
Right in the gents.
I don't think there is such thing as a singular
It's
genital.
like how pants are pants, but it's just one pair.
It's true.
You know?
Right.
It's not pant.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good point. Because it definitely, yeah, it's a good point.
What's the worst thing that's happened to you during sex?
The worst
The
thing.
worst
that's happened to
thing?
me?
Worst thing, just like either awkward or embarrassing or funny or just something that was.
I've told this story on the podcast before, but I once had like a really bad case of the queefs.
Yeah.
Like real bad. To the point where like he like pulled out of me and I started laughing and every laugh made another like
I mean,
That's
some
so
positions.
awful.
and I like ran away to the bathroom, but my running just increased.
Some positions though, just they
Yeah.
just push air in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I was just saying this is your fault the whole time. Because it was. I didn't create that air by myself.
I drank a Coke earlier. Sorry, everybody. I can't think of the worst thing. Worst thing that's ever happened to me during sex.
It sucks because when you say the story, then people, I think, listening are automatically going to assume it's the person you're currently with, which is not
that's
necessarily
true.
the case.
That's true.
I would say your plane story is pretty bad.
Oh, that's not
That's
sex.
not sex.
It wasn't his head.
In your head, it was.
Yeah.
I also told the story of me
I got
being
hurt
fart
once.
in the face during a
dick?
blowjob.
Wait,
What's that?
you got hurt and you got farted in the face?
Yeah.
Who did that?
I,
Oh, never mind. You can't. Never mind.
it's a previous relationship.
What's that?
Were you sucking him off from behind?
No, he was on the couch like you are now. Also, what?
Okay, if you're listening to the audio podcast, Barbara is now demonstrating on Gavin.
Sponsors can see this live.
So if you were leaned forward, sitting on the couch like that, and your legs were like kind of up, your butthole would be exposed.
Fair
What's
play.
he doing? What are you doing? Are you blowing him in a lazy boy? What's going on?
I was on the floor. He was on a couch.
He's on a couch.
Yeah.
What? And he just let one go.
Yeah, it wasn't on purpose.
I'm sure it wasn't.
I remember.
That's like Blaine's dream.
Mine, it wasn't necessarily the worst thing that happened. It was just a funny story. But I was house sitting for a friend, and I invited my girlfriend over. My girlfriend at the time.
God.
And
Worst house sitter ever.
Yeah, I know, because she did that for me, and I house sit. Everything's fine. It's my friend's family. They get back to their house, and then like a couple days later, he's like, "Did you have like so and so over to visit?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, why?" "Oh, why?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing." And I was like, "Tell me why."
Oh, no.
And it was because they found stuff.
Did they find a stain?
They found some space.
Your stain or her stain? Yours.
What, did you just fire it like over the kitchen counter? Like, wait, how didn't you see it?
No, I mean,
I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
some went on the couch.
Yeah, it
That
just
stuff's
kinda
hard to notice.
dribbled
I feel like
on.
if I'm house sitting and I make the absurd decision to have some jolly in someone else's house, I'm definitely going to be looking afterwards at potential stains or like trajectories and things.
Trajectory.
I've done it in some weird places.
I had a moment like that where
Yeah.
a girl I was dating, she was like a babysitter, and there was some incident that happened at the house with like a break-in, and she said, yeah, and they had footage of the people on the nanny cam, and I was like, nanny cam? They go, yes, because apparently they have like a camera in the house, and I was like, we had sex in that living room.
Oh my
like
God.
this was like months previous, and I had to point it out to her, and she was like, I mean, it's the dawning realization on her face.
But wasn't there like someone else's kid in the house?
Yeah, but they were asleep. So.
That's bad.
Yeah, you're like out
What if
in
they walked
the
in?
public area there.
You're younger, you make stupid decisions.
So there's a sweet sex tape somewhere.
You just
True.
board it up.
There's
Just board it
a
up.
Burnie burn sex tape.
I don't know
somewhere out there
how
in the
sweet
wild.
that sex tape would be.
Someone gave you $10 million. Would you watch that?
Probably in standard def as well.
It probably wasn't standard F. Like
One of
that.
my
bad
female
frame.
friends was hooking up with a guy at her house upstairs, and it had this long stairway, and you could hear someone coming up, and it was like her new boyfriend. So
Her new boyfriend was coming up?
her boyfriend and her were hooking up.
Okay.
And he was doing things with his hand. He's fingering her. And
Thanks.
they heard.
Thank God you clarified.
Yeah.
I thought he was painting something.
He was sticking his fingers in her
knitting.
vagina.
There we go.
And like this. So then they hear.
If
they
you're
hear-
listening to the audio podcast, Blaine's not demonstrating on Gavin.
Yeah.
Where was the thumb?
First members.
Gavin's
thumb
leaned
work
over.
involved?
Maybe. I'm not sure. She was. Anyways.
Does it matter?
So they hear footsteps coming up, and it ends up being her dad. And they rush and they get all their stuff together. And he's like, "Oh, hey, Derek, nice to meet you. Heard a lot about you."
Oh, fuck that.
Shook
Hey.
hands.
Yeah,
Puts the
fine.
hand up
Everybody's
for the
fine.
He's like,
Everybody's fine.
Everybody's fine.
that guy, the poor dad, just felt his daughter's.
Inner
You have to
Juice.
say, you have to say it.
You're overthinking it. Everybody's fine.
I bet he's just like,
So when you got blasted in the face by air
Oh.
during, was that off-putting for both parties? Did he go soft?
did it part your hair? Did you go?
It's like an Azuka.
No, it was fine.
Carried on.
Yeah, he was
Sounds
just
like
like, "Oh my god, like I'm so sorry," and I
Guess
was
he was
laughing, and then I was like, "I don't like, whatever." I
did
went
you-
like this. I just like waved my
waft it
hand in
away?
the air,
Cracked
to
a
waft
window?
it
Did you
away.
hit his dick when you're doing that?
Nope.
How did you get hurt?
You might know the beds in Gesture Dormitory.
Yeah.
Do you know them? Mm-hmm. I don't know if they've changed over the years, but they're essentially like they're couches, right, with drawers underneath, and then you can pull the bed out to make it a bed. So basically, when both the roommates are asleep, they extend their beds, and it eats up a significant portion of the room, right? And then it's like up against the wall or whatever. I didn't know this. I thought they were connected to the wall. They're not fucking connected to the wall. And so my girlfriend at the time, we got way too far out on the edge of the bed, and the whole fucking thing
Oh
went,
my
like,
God.
bump over on the top of us while we were like still connected. And that's a lot of torque to be putting in like.
Was that the deepest you've ever been?
It was fucking crazy. It was fucking crazy. She was a really good sport about it. She thought it was awesome.
Did that
but-
end the night? Or
No.
okay. Well, I guess
I mean,
not.
it freaked me the fuck out.
Have any
you
of
know?
you come close to? I don't want to even say it because it's gonna make me cringe. But breaking your dick.
I don't think so, but I've gotten a bend that's like, oh.
I've gotten a bin that was really close.
Yeah.
It was painful.
When I hear about the stories, I'm just like, ugh.
One of my old friends shagged on a trampoline and hurt.
Yeah?
Yeah. That just seems like a bad idea.
Cars
You
are not
get
fun.
like one of those double bounces.
There are dangerous positions for that.
Have you ever had to stop anybody because they were headed like you think you really have no clue what you're doing and you're about to hurt me? Have you
Yeah,
ever had that?
we had a yeah.
Barbara, girls with blowjobs
Teeth.
it can be a very mixed bag.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the sexual prowess of
wouldn't know
guys
that.
gets really evaluated.
Yeah.
You know, but really, it's like there's a lot of like I don't think women sit around discussing technique or
Here's
anything
the thing.
like that.
Like I don't know if people realize that women could be really bad at sex.
Yes,
I think maybe there's the perception that if they just lie there, it's.
I don't think anybody wants to talk about it because they're just happy that women are involved. Like they're like, all right, if she shows up, it's good. We'll make it
Right.
work. You know?
But no,
Yeah,
you gotta be interactive.
yeah. There's definitely been people that I'm like, I'm not like while I'm having sex with them, I'm like, I'm not coming back to this. Like I'm not, I'm not making a return journey. But it's funny because I always notice things too. Like I can't help but notice this. But like, Blaine is talking about his friend fingering his girlfriend. Yeah, how'd you
No,
explain
it
it?
was my friend was the girl.
Your friend was a girl, so the guy fingering the girl.
I
down.
don't know who that guy was.
You made a gesture, and I was like, interesting. Like, what
Two
was your
fingers.
gesture with fingering? There you go,
like
right
that.
there.
2 fingers. Yeah.
That's really. Those are the 2 fingers you use. Because that's a gesture that you use. So I'm like, I'm
maybe, I
fascinated.
guess.
I'm fascinated by that.
Well, that's why I asked about the thumb. Like, what's the thumb do? It's just like
I'm very uncomfortable with you all doing that. So
Sorry,
like,
sorry.
like rapidly.
I think I told my story about the girl that was in my high school that she got a reputation because she didn't know how to give a hand job and she would go like this.
Yeah, it's like a
to
snake
dudes,
charmer.
and then they called her Snake Charmer. What's up, Snake Charmer?
Nobody corrected her or talked to her.
I mean, the guy was taking it and he was just like, "Is this a joke?"
so. If you were like trying to assault someone and you were like this, would she just not know what?
She would-
if you went like this, would she be like, wanker?
Maybe it worked for some people.
I can't imagine because then you can't go down the full way. You just
Maybe some guys really love the tip of their penis. True.
it was embarrassing because like there's this really nice guy named Rad that came up to me at Cheesecake Factory.
Huh?
Rad.
His name was Rad.
Rad. My waiter today at the restaurant, the Mexican restaurant I went to, his name was, I gotta say it with a straight face. He goes, okay, if y'all need anything else, just give me a call. My name is Loaf. I was like, and he left, and I go to Matt, I go, the guy say his name was Loaf?
He had to have mispronounced something.
No, Matt goes, no, he said Loaf.
His little brother Roll.
But when the check came, it said Server John. So,
Maybe
John
it's a
Loaf.
nickname.
John Loaf.
Did he come back over and he's like, "Are you guys ready to order?"
That was like it's so good. I'm always so impressed by your shite jokes.
Yeah.
They come so fast.
Anyways, he came up to me.
So do I.
The kid was super sweet, very nice.
Did I ever tell you guys about the time that I got Greg Kinnear fired when I was in college? Okay, I'll tell that story. Hey, about the time I got Greg
Great.
Kinnear fired?
What?
Go on.
Did I ever tell you this story?
No.
I think you've told. I'm not sure if it was
It's
on a
gonna
podcast.
be a segue to an ad read.
Oh. So I was in college. There was a buddy of mine. His name was Dal.
Dal?
D-A-L. That's his name. Dal. Who?
Is he friends with
His
Loaf?
last name Rod.
Dal had a job where he worked for the state of Texas, and he would make agricultural surveys on the phone. And in college, you give all your friends shit. You just give each other a bunch of grief. And so I don't know why I thought it was funny. I started talking to Dal, and I said that Dal's job was to count cows for the government, and that's what his job was. That he would go out and count cows for the government. It became this long-running joke. But then there was this show on Fox. It was called Best of the Worst. And they had a thing where they're trying to find the worst job in America. And it was one of these network shows where they had like a satellite distribution thing down through like local radio stations. They were going to find the worst job in Austin, then the worst job in Texas, then qualify for the finals of worst job in America and be crowned it. And they were saying they had this contest for the worst job in Austin. And I was like, oh, this is fucking funny. I'll call the radio station. I'll do my Dal impression. Call the radio station. It was, I think, Bob and Mike at the time. And I called them. I got on the air. And they said, we got Dal Latshaw. All right, maybe I should say Dal's last name. We got Dal on the air. Dal, what do you do for a living? I said, I count cows for the government. And I went through this whole long spiel about like counting cows and how it's important and like don't like look down when you're counting cows because you might step in something. I made a joke like, yeah, every hamburger I eat is one less cow I have to count and all this. And then, so I go to my test, my chemistry test. I come home that day, fall asleep because I'd been up all night studying.
Right.
I wake up like just in time for dinner because I just crashed from doing an all-nighter studying. I walk down to the dining room, and on the bulletin board on the second floor is a note. Hey, Dal, call the radio station. You won that contest. And then a big question mark next to it. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was just happy because I had recorded a tape of my appearance on the radio. Dal, and I was going to play it at dinner for everybody. Dal won worst job in Austin contest. I don't know if it said worst job, right? Not best job. Worst job. Worst job in Austin contest. And I was like, holy shit. I go, I wonder if there's a prize associated with this. Well, it turns out it was part of a nationwide thing where they were trying to find the worst job in America. He wins the Texas contest.
What?
He then qualifies for the top 5 finalists in the nation for this best of the worst jobs in America. And then Dal started to panic because Dal's like, I'm gonna lose my job. He goes, you're gonna get so mad because it's like I work for the government. They're mad. I was like, just don't even tell them. No one will know about it or whatever. And I said, just tell the people who make the TV show, tell them that. So they come out and Dal says, well, he even informs them. He says, I don't really like go out and count cows because I'm on the phone and I make these surveys. My friend just did it because that'd be funny. They go, oh, don't worry about that. We got this. So they went out and they got some land, hired a local rancher, let him use the land. We get the cows. They gave him a bullwhip and a hat, you know? And he's out there, 1, 2, 3. They film this really funny package. Dal wins the national contest. He won like some big cash prize. He won a trip out to Hollywood. They have him on stage accept a big check. This was like the end of their season. They have a cow out on stage with him and everything. And he wins. He wins like a trip to Seattle, which at the time was a funny joke about a lousy trip because he won a like best of the worst trip. Then this local reporter, do you know John Kelso, who writes for the Statesman?
Yeah.
He's like a hacky kind of Andy Rooney dude, but
Hate him.
Hate him. Fucking hate him. Now you'll hate him even more. So he calls and he's like, hey, I heard that this UT kid won this national contest on Fox. And Dal goes, well, that's the funny thing. It's all a big joke. I don't really do that. It's only part of what I do, and they film the whole package. John Kelso goes, thanks very much. Click, hangs up, picks up the phone, calls Fox. He goes, hey, you know this kid that won your national contest? It's all a big hoax, right? They were like, what? They fucking canceled the show. And they like replaced Dal's package and his winner that they filmed in LA with I think the woman who picked ticks off the ducks ended up winning.
Bulldozing chicken shit's worse, but go ahead.
Way worse. Yeah. But they didn't bring her out or anything like that because then they just straight up canceled the show. And 6 months later, we're watching Channel E Entertainment News, and there's a show called Talk Soup on, and we're watching it with Greg Kinnear, and Dal walks and goes, that's the guy. And I go, what? He goes, that's the guy. Hey, that was the guy on the host of the show that I was on. And we looked it up. Sure enough, it was fucking Greg Kinnear was the host of the show that we accidentally got canceled. And then Greg Kinnear ended up on Talk Soup, and he's a fucking, Oscar-winning now actor as a result of all of that.
Good job.
And then he became the huge star that he is.
Jesus.
So if I ever meet Greg Kinnear, I'm going to tell him, I think I played an important part
In your life.
You just
in your
say you're
career.
welcome when you meet
Me
him.
and my buddy Dal in college.
You can really affect the entire world with the dumbest stuff. Like anyone can.
Butterfly.
Yeah.
It just shows you like one dumb decision can affect the world in quite a big
Yeah.
way.
If I
Yeah, it's
That is
so cool.
quite a domino effect that thing has.
Isn't that fucking weird? If
If you
I
should
show
have a
this on-
test that day, if you weren't up studying, there's like so many little variables that contribute to that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I thought the end of the story was going to be like some cow counting firm.
I thought
It
that
was like, you're hired.
Accountants.
We